The second I picked up the phone, all of that went away. It was like, I just needed to take action.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay,
You're like, I can't be that.
I can't be that. I can't be this person. The first 3 years isn't when you get rich. It's when you get good.
Oh, I did see that.
Every day they come home and see your name and face in the yard,
Right.
They're going to be angry.
Okay, hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome.
Thanks.
It's episode 278. And today we're going to ask ourselves your favorite question of the year.
Yes.
Say it.
If you hired you to run your business, would you fire you?
So now we're going to ask ourselves the tough questions.
We're going to ask ourselves. This is
Which-
like a little end of the year accountability check-in.
Yes. This may be painful.
Yeah.
some.
Shall I help the audience by vulnerably sharing a story where I feel like I dropped the ball?
Where you would fire yourself? Sure, why not? Let's start there. There's nowhere to go but up from there.
This is just a good example. So I listed a house that is gorgeous, beautiful. Love
Okay.
the house. I was even like, oh my gosh, should I buy this house as like a long-term plan? Anyways. And the pictures came out great. Couldn't wait to share them. We go on the market. I'm expecting all these showings the first weekend. Not so much. We finally get a first showing, and we get an offer. So first person that sees it agrees. Yes,
Sweet.
I want the house.
Perfect.
But it's contingent on the sale of their house,
Okay.
which hasn't sold yet.
Well, and on the market already?
No, but he had pictures and was like, can be on the market
Ready
within
to go.
24 hours.
Okay.
The agent is good. The neighborhood that the buyer's house in is good. And
Okay.
also like a more affordable price point.
Okay.
Had more recent sales. Like all the data pointed to their house is likely going to sell before ours.
Okay.
So if theirs sells, we sell.
Okay.
And also more houses in the neighborhood that I was in started popping up. So all of a sudden there's more
Inventory.
inventory. And I'm like, okay.
Competition.
So we go under contract. And I don't know why, but my brain just considered it
Like
like-
a done deal.
like it was pending.
Yeah.
And
I don't like where this is going.
No. I mean, I've redeemed myself and I'm working on it. And I had to have a little chat with myself and to my sellers where I basically just had to say, hey guys, I wanted first to apologize. I feel like once we went under contract in the beginning, we had a close date and I treated it as a pending when I should have continued the regular marketing communication and regular marketing efforts.
Because why? Why were we having this moment?
Because the buyer's home never sold
Yeah.
to this day. Never.
Oh, no.
To this day.
And you're done with them now.
It's been months and months.
And
Yeah.
you're back on the market
We've done 2 extensions.
with them.
Mm-hmm.
But now not anymore. You're
No, we're still with them.
Oh,
yeah.
still with them.
But I realized that I just wasn't communicating with them like I should have.
Yeah.
And then I had like a fight or flight moment where I just froze.
You're like, I don't know.
Like, I know I need to call them and I know I need to do some marketing here, but now I'm...
Now it's like, no matter what I do, it's obvious I had dropped the ball.
Yes, like I was kind of
Yeah,
just
I've
like...
had this happen.
I had like paralysis,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I called one of my friends and was like, I need a pep talk. I was like, you're so good at marketing. And I just feel like I've dropped the ball.
Okay.
And I have to make a phone call now.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed
About it.
about it because
Okay.
I should have made this phone call way sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad. I feel like I have done these clients a disservice. And she started off by being very kind, like, Alissa, you're being so hard on yourself. Like, you're a great agent. And I just wanted to be like, listen, I do appreciate you saying that. But I will let you know I messed up here.
Yeah.
I dropped the ball.
Right. Well, that's not what we're debating.
I'm not here to be complimented or made to feel better.
Oh, no.
I need a pep talk.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
And she was like, okay, got it. Well, you just need to be honest.
Yeah.
And call them and let them hear your voice. And it's hard because they don't live here.
Okay.
So face-to-face stuff has been hard.
yeah.
She was like, maybe even just make a little video of, hey guys, I was about to call you and thought, y'all don't live here. It may be best to see face-to-face.
Right. Because I'm going to tell you that I'm not doing a good job.
And I just wanted to call and say, I realize time is passing.
yeah.
And I owe you an apology for not keeping up the marketing efforts as strongly as I should have. I know we all felt pretty confident with this offer in the beginning. Time is proving that our house isn't selling. Their house isn't selling. A lot of houses aren't selling.
Right. It's not just y'all.
She was like, but you need to have an update.
Mm-hmm.
So I quickly went through. I was like, at this point now, we are one of 6 listings on the market in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Our contingent buyers are still very interested. They would like to do an extension if we're open to it. Here's the data there. Regardless of what you decide to do, here's the marketing plan. We're going to be doing a subdivision-wide open house. We're going to be advertising it as a group because the problem is none of us were having showings.
No one in the neighborhood.
I reached out to all 6 agents and none of us were because I thought maybe we're not showing because we're labeled contingent.
Well, that's a great point.
I was trying to figure that out. Yeah. And I told them that too. I said, I was trying to figure out, are we not showing because we're contingent?
Are you still labeled contingent?
Mm-hmm. Even though I have in the remarks and all of that, buyer's home has not sold.
Please
show the house. Like I have that everywhere. But when I called the others, they're like, have you had a showing? We haven't. And I'm like, oh, Lord. So even if we were active.
It was just quiet.
And I still think if one of us is going to sell first, it's going to be these buyers. Maybe, right?
Oh, the buyers that you have under contract?
Yeah, the contingency.
They want to live there.
Yeah, and they're in, like their neighborhood is slow too, but not as slow as where we are.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just had to sort of I had to really give myself a mindset check and be like, Alissa, you need to like do something. You need to get some movement in this neighborhood. You need to show your sellers what you're doing. So we did all of that. And you know what is so funny? I put myself through hours of agony about this.
And?
The second I picked up the phone, all of that went away.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I just needed to take action.
Yeah.
And make the phone call.
Right.
And have the plan.
Yeah.
And say, I'm sorry, but we're moving forward now.
And they weren't mad anyway.
I think they were getting mad.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Yeah.
And then, because the husband had emailed me and was like, we're open to ideas, anything
like,
creative. Now, we had done like 2 open houses.
Okay.
But, nothing super special.
I have a side question. Hey y'all, everything you missed last week on Deal Week is back for 1 additional day this Monday, Cyber Monday sale. If you sat on the fence thinking about that Hustle Humbly resource you've been eyeing but didn't pull the trigger, this is your chance. We have Afterpay available on most of the deals at checkout, so grab that course for even less upfront. One of our favorites, Build Your Own Business 101, is going to teach you how to work repeat and referral business, and it is the biggest discount, over 40% off. And it's going back into the vault and won't be available to purchase at all again until the fall of 2025. This is our biggest sale of the year, perfectly timed to help you prepare for a prosperous 2025. Last call, y'all, for the deals. Visit hustlehumblypodcast.com/deals, DEALS. And don't miss it. It's your last call. Monday only. 1 day for all the deals. Get them on Monday. And then we'll move on from I see what your point is. Did you audit the listing of the contingent buyer? Like, have you looked at their listing to see if you can give them some friendly advice?
Yes, I even ran like a market analysis for them.
Just like to
and
check.
Was like, hey, I really think if you could be here, you would be very competitive, and they reduced.
They did. Okay, good.
So I,
did
all
you
these
tell
things.
your sellers that?
I did.
Okay, good.
And that's a great point, Katie, because you may do things that you know are good, but your clients don't know you're doing those things.
We talked about that a lot this year.
So you have to communicate.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, today I ran a market analysis and this is what happened and all of that, And then I noticed every now and then on a Monday, they would email me and be like, hey, any update?
Right.
So that's when I was like, okay, we need to correct this. I have gone too long. The houses have gone too long.
Yeah.
But I did have to really look at myself and be like, you need to fix this.
Like if you were your own agent in that scenario,
I would have fired
you would have fired you.
And then in the same week, I had another client call me and was like, hey, I got your name from so-and-so. My house is on the market right now, but like we just haven't heard from our agent.
You're like, maybe you don't want me.
And in my head, I'm like, that's probably what my clients are doing now.
Yes.
Like they might be calling other agents.
Right.
And saying that. And
Right.
then what do we do as agents? We look up their house and see who their agent is that's not communicating with them. So that's when I was like, okay.
You're like, I can't be that.
I can't be that. I can't be this person. And so it just sort of, lit the fire. But if you think your clients aren't talking about your communication,
and
your marketing, your performance to their office,
other
to
agents,
their neighbors, to other agents.
I had a listing that was sitting not that long ago, last year maybe, and they would call me and say things like, the other agent in our neighborhood said your sign is too light.
Too pale.
Too pale. And I was like, oh God, why are you talking to another agent about my sign?
I know. It's not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling.
And so the only thing that you can do in those situations, the only thing that will make you feel any better is to take action.
Yeah.
But I wrote down a quote that I thought would be perfect for this episode.
Please tell us.
But is it really imposter syndrome if you're not doing a good job?
No, then you're just...
No, you're just actually not doing a good job.
Not doing a good job.
And I think sometimes in real estate, it's such a vain business.
Yeah.
And we want to be like, we are so good. Let us show you how good we are on Instagram and let us show you all these awards we've gotten. And so it gives you this false sense of security that you're good.
Right. Can you imagine your listing, your sellers, their listings are sitting and they see you posting yourself with awards? What has that feeling got to be like?
They're like, oh.
No, she's not getting it done over here.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you make a post, sold in one day, da-da-da. And they're like, she can't sell my house.
One day.
Yeah.
All right, that's hard.
So you really have to be aware of, I think we get so in our head about what we think of ourselves that we forget, like the only thing that really matters in our business is how our clients feel about us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I have for you the top reasons per my sweet friend ChatGPT that employees are fired. And I thought that we could frame our discussion through the reasons why a standard now, obviously, you're employing yourself.
Yeah.
That's great, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but then you still have to give yourself that accountability, like review, right? Like you need a performance review.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a personal performance review.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, so the top reasons employees are fired. They are a mix of performance, behavior, and attitude issues.
Oh,
this is so good. Okay, I'm going to save number one for the end because it's the one I think we're going to dig into more. Okay. Tardiness. The other one was attendance, but I'm like, obviously you choose your schedule and you probably are attending more than you want. But I think we all might need to take a good hard look in the mirror with the tardiness. You're a timely person.
Yeah.
I am a tardy person.
But I'm not early, but I'm on time.
It is my nature. I am not going to be 15 minutes late.
No.
10 would be a lot, but 5 would be standard.
Right.
If I'm rolling up 5 minutes late, that's about right.
Okay.
There are agents that are 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
To everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get to the inspector and they're like, oh, you're here on time.
Yeah. Wow. Surprising.
Most agents are here 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for them to open a door.
Right.
Okay. So tardiness. Next one, dishonesty or lack of integrity, lying, falsifying information, or any unethical behavior. I mean, I hope that no one listening has done this. This would include fraud or embezzlement.
None of our hustle humbly listeners.
But you told me something when we were taking notes for this episode that I felt like fit in this category. And that was someone said, I've just been kind of like slipping my BBA in there.
Yes.
Like,
I hope they don't ask me any questions.
I don't want to talk about this, but I'm just going to sign this. Sign here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you feel like you're giving your clients any document to sign that you're not properly explaining, especially if it involves your payment, that is definitely a little...
You're fired.
A little on the unethical side, I would say.
And we should revisit that more in a minute.
Okay, fine. We'll come back to this one for you. Next. Insubordination.
Oh.
Refusing to follow instructions, disrespecting authority, and I would say this in your self-employed business would be more like you're not upholding your own business rules or boundaries.
Right. You're being a Pop-Tart agent. You're showing houses to not pre-approved buyers.
You make the rules, but you also have to listen to yourself when you set the rules.
Yeah.
So you cannot be an insubordinate to yourself. And y'all can say what you want, but we've all done it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know I'm not supposed to.
Right.
But I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
This buyer really wants to go today. Inappropriate behavior.
Oh.
Now, remember, these are framed in the employee being fired by an employer.
Sure.
But actions like harassment, bullying, or creating a hostile work environment. And I would say, you know what? Obviously, you are not putting yourself in a hostile work environment with you, but you do choose which office you work in.
Mm-hmm.
You do choose, like, are you putting yourself into hostile situations or unpleasant places?
Mm-hmm.
You chose to go there.
Right.
You're in total control.
Mm-hmm. And I think are you giving yourself a hostile reputation? If you are difficult to work with, if you're rude to other agents, if you're not helpful, if you're
You're going to love. This one goes hand in hand with that. Negative attitude or poor teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Consistently displaying a poor attitude, being uncooperative, or not working well with others can harm the team dynamics, but it can harm your business, right?
It totally can.
So are you not being a good co-op agent?
Right.
Remember episode 129?
Good co-op.
How to be a good co-op agent?
Mm-hmm.
That one's so important here.
I feel like that would be a great episode to refresh on this week.
Right?
To go with this.
Because it really does ask you all those questions. Like, are you doing the right thing with the title company, with the lenders, with the other agents, with your clients? Okay. That was negative attitude or poor teamwork. You're a team of one maybe.
Right.
But you can still have poor teamwork. Okay.
This would be a good episode for those agents that listen that are on or have a team.
For sure, because then you have team dynamics.
Yeah, then you can really apply
Maybe you're not just looking at your own accountability, but the accountability of your team.
Yeah.
Are you creating a hostile work environment?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if
are you the problem?
Or what if 2 team members are fighting, but you're just letting that happen, right? Like you're creating the work environment.
Yeah.
Violation of company policy. And this was breaking company policies such as misuse of company property, violating dress code, or you're going to like this one, ignoring safety rules. So you should have a policy about your safety, and you should be holding yourself accountable for following the safety rules, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the office where you work has some company policies, but you holding yourself accountable is what we're talking about. Okay, ready? Misuse of company resources. Using company assets like computers or vehicles for personal reasons, or, you're going to love this one, spending excessive time on social media during work hours.
It's like our job.
But is it?
Right.
Was scrolling
That's
for an
what we
hour?
love to say. I was working.
If you didn't comment on anything and you scrolled for an hour, that was not for work.
No working.
You need to hold yourself accountable. That was a misuse of your company resources.
That is true. Like
it's true.
These are your business hours. And if you don't get what you need done during your business hours, you're going to be doing it in the evening when you really want to be watching your show.
Right. What if you had a job that you couldn't take the work home with you? You just didn't get it done during the day?
Yeah, you're fired.
Exactly. I'm telling you how you're going to get fired.
Yeah.
All right. This one just made me chuckle. Not because I think this is
funny.
I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
Substance abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Arriving at work intoxicated or using drugs or alcohol during work hours. I'm like, this is the definition of every realtor event you've ever been invited to.
Every event.
Have a drink.
Yeah, here. It's a 10 a.m. open house. Have a mimosa.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that. I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, well, in a workplace, you might be fired.
Yes.
Poor adaptability to change. Resistance to changes in processes, technology, or policies, especially in rapidly evolving industries, can be viewed as a barrier to productivity. So you need to ask yourself, how are you adapting to change? Are you able to deal with the new technology or new rules or new laws or new policies?
Yeah.
Do you easily adapt things that your office is implementing, or are you so resistant and you have to fuss about everything?
Right.
So I thought that one was pretty accurate. Okay, so let's go back to number 1, which is the one I think you're going to dig into. Poor performance. Consistently failing to meet job expectations, missing deadlines, producing low-quality work. And I think this probably falls in line with the, did you call the seller or did they have to call you? Like, are people prompting you? Like, right. Are people having to hunt you down?
Yeah. I wrote down from what you said, consistently failing.
Right. Well,
that's pretty much like every seller you have is aggravated.
At you. Then you are probably doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Nothing, I know nothing makes me feel better. I have another listing right now that is sitting.
Okay.
And I was talking to the seller the other day, and after we got off the phone, she texted me and was like, I just wanted to thank you for everything you're doing.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking to myself, and it's not selling.
Yeah.
But she's hearing from me.
And you're working.
And we're working and we're communicating. And that's, I think too, sometimes agents think the goal is to make the client happy.
Right.
We can't always do that. Sometimes you are marketing, working, and doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you still have an unhappy client.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about in this episode today.
No.
This episode today is about you. We're not pointing the finger at your sellers.
Right.
We're not pointing the finger at other agents. We're taking a good look in the mirror today.
Right.
To say,
hey y'all, everything you missed last week on Deal Week is back for one additional day this Monday, Cyber Monday sale. If you sat on the fence thinking about that Hustle Humbly resource you've been eyeing but didn't pull the trigger, this is your chance. We have Afterpay available on most of the deals at checkout, so grab that course for even less upfront. One of our favorites, Build Your Own Business 101, is going to teach you how to work repeat and referral business, and it is the biggest discount, over 40% off. And it's going back into the vault and won't be available to purchase at all again until the fall of 2025. This is our biggest sale of the year, perfectly timed to help you prepare for a prosperous 2025. Last call, y'all, for the deals. Visit hustlehumblypodcast.com/deals, DEALS. And don't miss it. It's your last call. Monday only. One day for all the deals. Get them on Monday. You recently responded to a message, I think. Someone was having an issue, and you're like, not every client is going to show up to the closing table happy. Right. It doesn't mean you didn't do your job. And you also have to think it's a highly emotional time. Some people don't want to be selling or buying.
Yeah. This agent was really down on herself.
Yeah.
And she wrote us an email about what could she have done better? And she told us it was an elderly couple. They were having trouble getting out of their house. She helped them with packing. She went to check on them like 5 days before closing, and the wife was crying because they're so overwhelmed with moving their whole life. And she's like, I don't think I'm going to have time to clean it. And the agent's like, don't worry, I'll have my cleaner over here. You don't clean. They close. Wife is unhappy. I said, this is not a would you fire you situation.
At all.
You did all the right things, and we need to rest in that.
Yeah.
I'm harder on myself than any client could ever be, and that's the truth. Now, the second that a client is unhappy or expresses, I definitely go into high gear of, okay, I need to get it together and make sure I'm doing the right things. But sometimes it's like, I have done the things, and it's not necessarily something on my part, but we also need to be able to say, yeah, I did drop the ball here, and this is what I need to do to fix it.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Under performance, I also how responsive are you? Do you answer your phone, especially if your client is calling? But what if it is just a random number? I know they're trying to sell a lot of things to a lot of agents, but like sometimes you just got to answer the phone. And if there's that long pause before the machine or the person, I just hang up.
Yeah.
If there's a human there, then I'll see what they want.
Right.
But like if it takes a long pause, I'm like, bye. But do you answer your phone? Do you respond to email in a timely fashion? Do you respond to text?
Do you set the expectation of, hey, thanks so much, I got your email, I'll have this to you tomorrow?
Right.
They just need to know communication.
Yeah.
Part of this episode was inspired because we've been hearing more and more stories about buyers wanting to get out of buyer rep agreements because they didn't realize they signed them.
Okay, tell it.
And that is why I think that's a problem.
Yeah, we're back on dishonesty, lack of integrity.
Yes.
Okay.
And you may think, well, I'm not a dishonest person, but we've had some
This is the exact, when people are like, well, I just didn't tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't lie to you.
I just
didn't say anything. Like,
Yeah.
in some cases, it's
right.
Still, the omission is still a lie.
With all of these changes going on, it is in your job description, no matter what company you work for. If you are a licensed agent, it is in your job description to explain contracts to your clients.
Yes.
We have had several stories come through.
Yeah.
Some from fairly decent agents.
Yeah.
Where agents are like, I haven't had any trouble getting them signed. I just slip it in with everything else and they sign it. I'm like, that's probably
That's only
the worst
work
thing.
Until a seller won't pay the commission that you got the buyer to agree to. And you're going to either have to tell the buyer they signed that to get paid or admit that you slipped it in there and just not get paid.
Yeah. And
right.
And we're having so many buyers say, well, I didn't understand. I was told I just had to sign that to see the house.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a binding contract.
Where I'm paying someone.
Yeah. I think we're going to hear more of this. I think it'll settle down next year.
I hope. You're very optimistic.
Well, I say that too because with all the changes in the industry, I've seen a handful of people going inactive.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I'm just not going to do all this. Yeah. Maybe they're part-time and don't want to, or maybe this has just been a rough road for them.
Year.
Yeah, such a hard year. And a lot of people are going back to corporate jobs and regular paychecks, which if that's what you need for your family, fine. Yeah. That's, you need to do what's best for your family. But if you're going to commit to the real estate profession, part of that is having very difficult conversations.
Yeah.
We have to talk about money.
Yeah.
We have to talk about pricing.
Right.
And hoping that your client sign something without asking any questions isn't the way.
Super wrong.
I saw a quote the other day that said, the first 3 years isn't when you get rich, it's when you get good.
Oh, I did see that. So
I thought, yes, if you, a seasoned agent or a not seasoned agent, if you are struggling with presenting the listing agreement, the buyer rep agreement, the property disclosure.
Yeah.
Go take some classes. Go to your broker. Attend the meetings. There are so many resources, videos out there to help you with your confidence.
Yeah.
But every time you skate by, you're doing yourself a disservice.
And it's the reverse. Every time you do it and you talk it through, it gets easier and easier.
I can attest to that 100%. When this whole buyer rep agreement, it was like the anticipation of it was causing so much of the tension because people were really panicking. And every time you turned around, there was a new class to attend.
Yeah.
I will say once it was finally here and I made it through my first presentation, it was like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. And I thought, okay. And did I fumble through it?
Yeah.
And did I tell my client, hey, just to be honest with you, today is August 16th and this is the first time I'm presenting this. If I'm unclear about anything, please ask questions because I don't want to miss anything.
Right.
That is how don't feel like you have to be so stuffy.
Right.
You need to be relatable and approachable so that your clients can ask you questions.
Yeah. They definitely need to feel comfortable asking questions all through the process. Not just, but especially when they're signing something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you want to tell the story of the title attorney who called us?
We had a title attorney who called and was like, hey, I have a question. And I just want to know if you're seeing this a lot. Is this normal?
This is someone who's been a title attorney for years.
Decades.
And does closings all day.
Yes.
Every day.
And what was it? He got a call from the buyer's father.
It was the buyer's father.
Called him because he's an attorney, even though,
Yeah.
To say, my daughter went and saw this house with someone. And she signed a piece of paper. She doesn't know what it was, but now this guy's telling her, you're my client.
Yeah. And it was the poor girl had hit the button.
Yeah.
She
online.
Had clicked to say, I want to see this house.
Yes.
And she showed up to the house.
And I think even may have thought she was meeting the listing agent.
And when she got to the house, the agent said, you must sign this.
To open the door.
Yeah. But it was a full buyer rep agreement for 6 months. And it had an amount that she was going to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I think he did say, I will be your agent now.
Yeah.
But you have to do this.
You have to sign it if you want to see the house. How uncomfortable.
Right.
As a consumer to show up,
I would
meet a stranger.
Very off-putting.
And you find this out now? Like, I left work to come here. Of course I'm going to do what I need to do to see the house.
Right. Well, I think she really didn't read it.
No, she did not read it.
She didn't like the house. And she didn't like the agent.
Correct.
Was the other part of the story. She didn't like the house and she definitely didn't like the agent. And she leaves and she takes her piece of paper with her and she gives it to her dad, obviously. Yeah. And dad reads it and is like,
what did you sign?
This is your agent now. What if you see another house you want to go see? You're supposed to work with this person. So then he calls and the title attorney's like, so, I mean, like, what do they do? They're stuck in this agreement. I'm like, well, they need to because he's like, she wants to see another house, but she wants to pick her own agent.
Yeah.
And we were like, she's got to cancel that contract. They were afraid she was literally stuck in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can cancel.
Right.
But that's not what the agent said.
No. They had to get brokers involved.
Yeah.
And the title attorney was like, so wait, people are just signing these things?
And he was more incredulous that agents were doing this.
Yes.
He could not. This is a man who works in the industry.
And is surprised.
Could not believe and was surprised that agents would behave this way and get someone to sign something without them understanding and tie them into something for 6 months. Mm-hmm. And neither of us were surprised.
Right.
Because it happens every day.
Yeah, we're like, hey, you're surprised by this behavior?
He was really surprised.
He was very surprised. And he was also trying to figure out, so is this agent going to let them out?
Yeah.
We were like, I mean, we don't know. He wouldn't disclose who it was, which was kind. But
yeah,
I'm like, you're going to have to call, like the dad is going to have to call brokers. And this dad was ready to fight. He was ready to be like, I dare you to try to sue me.
Right.
We are not working with you. And is that the kind of client you want? Is that the reputation that you want?
Definitely no.
I mean,
no.
If somebody doesn't want to work with you anymore, it is better to release them. And agents want to die on the hill of a contract. Yeah. You signed a contract.
I'm like, no. My thing has always been, if you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you.
Correct.
If you don't want me to have your house listed anymore, fine.
Every day they come home and see your name and face in the yard. Right. They're going to be angry. That's like the story I shared before of the guy who called me to list his house, but it was like October. And he said, my listing agreement isn't up until January.
Right.
And this agent won't let me out. And I was like, well, you need to call the broker and say, I am not comfortable working with this agent anymore. And he said, I did. And the broker is supporting the agent, saying, I signed a contract and we're not releasing you from the contract.
Honestly, you hear that pretty rarely.
Pretty rarely, but I feel like more lately as business has gotten harder.
There's not a lot of business.
The second someone signs something, agents leave going, yes.
I got you.
I got a client.
The contract with your clients should never be a gotcha.
Never.
Ever.
So do you know what the seller did? Do you remember?
He waited,
right? He stopped cutting his grass.
Oh, that's right. He sabotaged showings.
He was like, I don't want this guy to get paid. He was like not leaving for showings, dishes in the sink. And when I tell you, this guy, he was ex-military, so clean and tidy.
It was making him
He was
crazy.
Like in Finding Nemo, the shrimp that really wants to clean, but they're like,
no, let the tank.
Stop, let the tank get dirty. And he's like, sorry.
I got to do it.
He was like, that's how I've been living in my house because I did not want this agent to get the sale. So when I went, after it was expired, I went for the listing appointment and I was like, wait a second. This house was dirty? Because it was like actually glowing. It was so clean. But again, who wants that reputation? And the point of, I know here at the Louisiana Real Estate Commission, the goal is always that the client is first. And no matter what has been signed, the goal of the commission is to protect the public.
I believe that's also the definition of realtor.
Yeah. We are not here to strong arm anyone. No.
I'm serving the public.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
Mm-hmm. So if you find yourself in a situation that's been keeping you up at night, you're not alone. I just felt that feeling, and it's not a fun feeling, but the only thing you can do to feel better about it is not to call a coworker and vent and commiserate.
Just do the work.
Just do something. Do the work. When I scheduled this neighborhood open house, you know, every agent was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then there's always that one that's like,
the whole
I mean, this isn't going to do anything. It's not going to make the house sell. And I'm like, okay, well, what else are you telling your seller?
Yeah, we need to do something.
We need to do something. So which agent are you going to be?
Right.
And the more you do, whether that's going to be what actually causes the sale to happen or not, it gives you a reason to pick up the phone, call those people, and give some updates.
Yeah.
I always say my goal is if I can't sell the house and they switch agents after it expires, I want them to be like, wow, Alissa was so much better.
She was so good.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Every listing, I want them to be like,
I think that's fair.
That the goal is not the sale.
Right.
How many emails do we get of, how do I make this house sell? I hate listings. I'm so stressed out because I can't sell this house.
Some of them don't sell.
Some of them take a very long time, but they will extend for you, or if
you're working. I had my biggest listing, remember? He extended for 4 years. I had that listing.
You worked so hard on that one.
So hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am.
Yes.
I mean, a good thing it was a luxury listing because I needed every bit of that commission out of the amount of time I spent on it.
Correct.
And money I spent. Like, you know.
Yes.
Anyway, I have a little fun treat for you.
Oh.
I have a list for you of why each Enneagram type would be fired.
This is hilarious.
So each Enneagram type brings unique strengths to the workplace, but also has specific challenges that could, in extreme cases, lead to termination if left unchecked.
If you are not familiar with the Enneagram, we did a really fun episode.
Tell us the episode number. It's early on. I feel like
it's one of our first episodes, and it was so fun.
It's real early.
And we also compared each Enneagram type to Disney characters.
Yeah, that was
to really help you understand.
I love a personality test. So I would love feedback on this episode. If you're interested in us doing another personality style,
please don't make us do DISC. I just can't talk about DISC anymore.
Like a Myers-Briggs or something interesting.
Episode 13.
Okay.
The Enneagram.
The Enneagram. So if you want to know what the types are, go to that one and take a test. There's some free ones and it's fascinating.
It's you should make your family listen to it too. It's just a fun episode.
This is like an age-old personality test.
Like ancient.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So type 1, the perfectionist. Here's the reason why you're going to get fired. Being overly critical or rigid, especially if it leads to conflict or delays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It says they have high standards and can be overly focused on doing things the right way. This can lead to micromanagement or criticizing others, which might create friction.
Yeah.
All right. Type 2, the helper. This is me. Reason for firing, overstepping boundaries or neglecting their own responsibilities. Explanation, type 2s want to help and be needed, which can lead to over-involvement in others' tasks.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe that's not your business.
I'm just trying to be helpful, Mr. Linder.
Uh-huh.
It's like, back off.
Yeah. Okay. Type 3. Here you go.
Here's me.
The achiever. Reason for firing. Prioritizing image over substance or engaging in unethical behavior to succeed.
I'll do anything to win.
Win at all costs. Right. Explanation. The type 3s are driven by success and can sometimes prioritize results over integrity. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Not for you personally, but like in the group. Okay.
Right.
Type 4 is the individualist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Reason for firing. Struggling with teamwork or becoming overly emotional or withdrawn. They value authenticity and often feel things deeply, which can sometimes make collaborating a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Type 5, the investigator. Reason for firing. Withdrawing from collaboration or hoarding information.
Oh.
Type 5s are
not community over competition.
No, independent thinkers who prefer to work alone. If they become too isolated or keep valuable knowledge to themselves, it can hinder team projects.
Yes.
Type 6, the loyalist. Reason, did you know that type 6 is the most common type?
Oh, interesting.
The loyalist. Reason for firing, excessive worry or resistance to change.
Well, there's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah, they're loyal, but can be overly cautious, especially if they feel insecure. This can lead to a lack of adaptability, over questioning management decisions, or displaying a fearful attitude. Okay, type 7, the enthusiast.
Yay!
Reason for firing, lack of follow through or getting distracted by too many ideas.
I was going to say lack of systems.
Right.
I'm going to spend 3 hours making a pretty flyer, but I'm not going to do anything else.
They love new experiences and can easily get bored, which might make it hard for them to complete routine tasks. Number 8, the challenger. Reason for firing, aggressiveness or creating a hostile work environment. Explanation, the type 8s are bold and direct, which can sometimes come across as intimidating or combative. They're overly controlling or resistant to feedback. It can lead to conflicts with the team.
That's like, I'm not letting you out of this contract.
No,
you signed
it.
Yeah, you signed it, so I'm not letting you out.
That's the rules. Type 9, the peacemaker. Reason for firing, avoiding conflict to the point of passivity or failing to take initiative.
See, I think I got kind of like that for a minute there. Yeah. Like I was just in a holding pattern because I didn't know what to say. I was frozen.
Yeah, it says they prioritize harmony, which can sometimes result in them not speaking up or addressing issues.
Well, harmony and real estate don't exactly go together all the time.
That's true.
We have a lot to discuss and confront.
Right.
That was very helpful.
I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, let's think about ways that you maybe need to take a pulse check of your business.
And the good thing is y'all are here. So y'all are a step above so many others seeking training and education and wanting that. So you're already ahead. So if whatever house or transaction it is you're thinking of right now, like pick up the phone right now.
Yeah.
And just call them.
I also think about how do I feel as a consumer? Because if we're really asking ourselves, if I hired myself, would I fire myself? Like when you go to do marketing, do you want to receive that newsletter? Do you want someone to knock on your door at 7 p.m.? Like, do you want someone to have a, I don't know, super loud, aggressive open house like on a Sunday morning? Like, what would you like as a consumer?
And do that.
What would make you say you're fired? It's a good question to ask yourself. Okay, so I guess, are you ready for a toast?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, bye.
My name is T.G. Tasso. I am from Naperville, Illinois. I am toasting our John Green Realtor Oswego small group. They do such a great job being the best of the best. They are the best trained. They listen to the Hustle Humbly podcast, and we so appreciate all the great advice you give. And shout out to them because they are a great group of women.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or drop a comment if you're listening on Spotify.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all of the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.